Hi, man. I'm Dr. Greg Popcak, and this is episode 21 of the Beatitudes podcast. And in this part of the series, we are looking at the Beatitude, blessed are the dads who are peacemakers. In the last episode, we talked about what peace actually was and how it orders our relationship with our Heavenly Father. And as I mentioned there, St. Augustine tells us that peace is the tranquility that results from right order, right? So peace isn't just quiet, which is the absence of conflict or the absence of problems. Quiet is a good thing, but it's not the same thing as peace. Peace is when we've worked to create right order. And so I want to talk in this podcast about creating a peaceful relationship with our wife. What does it mean to have a well-ordered marriage that then produces the tranquility from that right order, the peace that we want in our relationship with our spouse? And peace in marriage, especially, and family life, really comes from the strength of the connection that we've created with our spouse. Research by the Gottman Institute, which is the world's premier marriage research institute, tells us that when couples are happy and healthy, that they maintain a 20-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions in their relationship. And Dr. John Gottman makes the point that these aren't big things, right? This is little ways that couples make time and create space for each other to make connection, little ways they look out for each other and try to make each other's day a little easier or more pleasant, little ways that they attend to each other and really tend the connection that exists between them. In the Liturgy of Domestic Church Life, we talk a lot about rituals of connection, and that plays a big role in maintaining a peaceful marriage, creating daily rituals for working, playing, talking, and praying together with your wife. Again, every day. We need to be making that space in our relationship, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes at a time, to work together, play together, talk together, and pray together. The more we're able to create that time to make those connections across those 4 points, the more peaceful our relationship with our wife is going to be, because she feels and we feel connected to each other, cared for by each other, cherished by each other, and taken care of by each other. So I'm going to walk through what some little examples of rituals around working, playing, talking, and praying together actually look like, to give you an example on this. And I'd also say that it's really important that we as men, as the heads of our homes, right, take point in creating these rituals of connection that allow our spouse to feel connected to us, that allow our wife to feel cared for and cherished and taken care of by us. Because we often think that just occupying the same space is somehow enough to make that connection. And then we leave making deeper connection to our wife. We'll do what she tells us to do. She wants help with something. All you got to do is tell me, honey. She wants to talk. All you got to do is tell me, honey. She wants to do something fun or go on a date. Anytime you want to go, I'm happy to do it. She wants to pray. Okay, fine. Being that guy who just goes along with our wife taking that initiative isn't enough. That touches on something called emotional labor. Emotional labor is the emotional energy it takes not just to do the task, but to plan the task, to organize the task, to make sure the task gets done, to follow up and make sure the task went well, right? Doing the thing is only about 10% of the job. The other 90% is all the other stuff I was just saying, the emotional labor that goes into planning how it's going to get done, making sure that it does get done, make sure that it gets done well, make sure that it stays done when it's done. And so very often, especially when it comes to relational stuff, we kind of outsource that responsibility to our wife. And we just say, well, you just tell us what we need and we're happy to show up. And we think that we're doing all the work, right? But really, we're only doing 10%. We've left 90% of the emotional labor to maintaining our relationship to our spouse. Really, we should be taking point as if we're going to be true heads of household, we need to be taking the point in creating those rituals of connection with our spouse and making sure that they happen every day, making time to work and play and talk and pray together. Now, when we first present this, a lot of people think, gosh, how am I going to fit all that into my day? You want me to carve out time to do more stuff? Not at all. We want you to do the stuff you already do more intentionally. I mean, chances are, for example, let's talk about work rituals. Chances are, the dishes get washed in your house every day, whoever does them. Well, you can create a work ritual just by doing the dishes together with your wife, and not just doing that to get the dishes done, but washing them and making that part of the conversation you started over dinner, and just checking in with each other and seeing how you're doing, and maybe flirt a little bit and be fun and playful, right? Chances are laundry has to get folded in your house. Fold it together and use it as a time to be in the same space, talking to each other. The point of the activity isn't really folding the laundry. It's an excuse to be in the same room with each other, talking and sharing and just being together. I'll tell you, I don't remember if I shared this with you before, but when Lisa and I were in college, we got married the day after graduation. So we dated in college. And in the college we went to, at Franciscan University at the time was segregated in terms of female dorms, male dorms, except the laundry room was co-ed. And so all of a sudden it became an exciting thing to do laundry together. And it wasn't because we all loved laundry, of course, it was because we liked to be around our girlfriend and so, that's kind of the thing we want to try to cultivate, that idea that it doesn't matter what we do together. It matters that we're together. And so those work rituals enable us to use the stuff of family life to actually connect, instead of saying, oh yeah, we'll finally get some time together when all the work is done. And then none of the work is ever done. So, identify those things that one or the other of you does by yourself to get stuff done around the house, and then just start doing them together. Create that as a ritual. You don't have to do everything together, but pick one or two things that you can do that really give you some time to check in with each other and show up for each other and be together. An example of play rituals. Of course it's great to get a date. Of course it's great to go away for the weekend. But you know what? Just what about making a little time to go for a walk? One of you has to walk the dog, go together, right? Make a point of playing a couple of hands of Uno or watching that fun show that you guys enjoy. Be intentional about doing something fun and enjoyable with each other every day. Even for 10 minutes. Even as you kind of play or flirt throughout the day, it's just about keeping that playfulness in the relationship that says, I enjoy you. You're fun to be with. And I like playing with you. I like making jokes with you. I like laughing with you. I like having fun with you. You bring joy into my life. When we don't play with our spouse, everything just seems kind of like a drudgery, right? It seems like we're just getting through the day. So what are those little rituals we can create as husbands? How can we take point in creating opportunities for joy by establishing those play rituals throughout the day that where we just connect with our wife for a few minutes every day to remind her that she's our joy and that we actually do enjoy being around her. Talk rituals. Men get a little intimidated by talk rituals. We're afraid that, we're not particularly deep. We don't know what to say. A lot of us weren't raised in families where communication was a big thing. So talking about our feelings or talking on a deeper level, it rubs us the wrong way. I'm just going to challenge us all to get over ourselves. I mean, this is something that can improve with practice. And there are lots of other things that we aren't particularly good at, but we have to do them and we need to learn how to do them better. And so we do them, and with practice, it gets better. This is one of those things. If you're not comfortable with it, it's okay. Step into it lightly, but keep it up. Keep doing it. And what I'm talking about with talk rituals, that could be something as simple as making a point to have more meaningful conversations over family dinner. And when I mean meaningful conversations, I'm talking about those topics that don't naturally come up. How was your day? Fine. What'd you do? Nothing. That's what we talk about, right? But what about conversations like, hey, what do we need to do to be a better team? What would it take, this week for us to, this is a rough week. What do we need to do to make sure we take care of each other while we go through this? Or what's something that I could do to make your life easier or more pleasant today? I've talked about that a lot. Let's talk about, how did God show up for us today? Or when did we feel like we were kind of struggling today? Having those conversations where we're really asking about each other's well-being, about what's going well, what's not going so well, how we can help each other and support each other and be better partners and friends and teammates to each other. That's all really important stuff. And we just need to create space to have those conversations. And on a daily basis, that could be 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Either we're doing that over dinner or while we're washing the dishes or while we're taking that walk with the dog. You see, you can combine these rituals too. They don't have to all just be their own thing. You can have a talk ritual and a play ritual combined, or a talk ritual and a work ritual combined. But the point is that when you create that space for those conversations, make sure that you're talking about not just the business of life, but how you guys are really doing emotionally and spiritually and relationally, and most importantly, what you could do to take a little bit better care of each other on that emotional and spiritual and relational level. And if you're creating that space every day, 10 to 15 minutes, that makes a world of difference, right? And then, of course, the prayer ritual. Making time to pray every day about your relationship, that God would teach you how to be the husband and wife that he created you to be. Lord, help me, so I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Let's say, so one example, and you don't have to do this, but this is something that Lisa and I do. The alarm goes off. We wake up and we roll toward each other immediately. And the first thing out of our mouth, Lord, help me be the husband that you created me to be, that Lisa needs me to be, the father that my kids need me to be, the man that you need me to be. Help me to know how to love her well and to love her with your love. Help me to attend to her concerns. And I'll list some of those concerns. And then, she'll do the same thing. Help me be the wife that God created me to be, and the mother, and so on. But that's the first thing that we do when we wake up. And it doesn't last long. It's maybe 5-6 minutes. If we have a little more time, we might do a Divine Mercy chaplet or a Bible reading or something. But most often we don't have a lot of time for that. So we start there at least. And then we end the day in a similar way, just talking a little bit about the day. And we have the talk ritual for 10 or 15 minutes where we just process the day, and then we bring it to prayer. But adding that, that 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the day where we process things, then bring it to God briefly, it just makes all the difference, right? So we're bookending our day with couple prayer as a way of just making sure that we're inviting God into everything that we're doing. And of course, we're continuing that conversation with God throughout the day on our own, but having this little time set aside and make sure that we're at least touching base. And then if we need to have a deeper prayer time about some big decision that we've got going on or some other issue that we're struggling with, we can always make that time happen. But this little kind of check-in time that allows us to kind of just take that spiritual temperature in the household and make sure that we are staying connected to God and to each other. So when we create these rituals of connection, for working, playing, talking, and praying together, when we as the godly husbands in our home take point in establishing and maintaining those rituals of connection for working and playing and talking and praying together every day, we are being peacemakers in our marriage, because we are creating the space for those things that establish right order in our marriage and allow the tranquility that results from that right order to flourish. Because we have made sure that we are showing our wife that we care about her and that she's important enough to make time for, to work and play and talk and pray alongside of her, and let her feel like she's a real helpmate to us, a real partner, a real friend, somebody that brings joy to our life, somebody that we're interested in learning more about and in learning and making a deeper connection with. By creating those times to work and play and talk and pray together, we create peace in our marriage by creating the connection that allows that peace to thrive. Thanks for tuning in. If you've got questions about making this happen in your relationship, don't hesitate to post them in the Home Builders section on Catholic Home. I'd love to keep up the conversation with you there. Thanks so much for tuning in. God bless.